Hello, everyone. Welcome to Follow Up Fridays. Hope you had a good week. Do you sometimes feel like you're in a corner, that you're being boxed in? Well, I want to just tell you that the only one who got you in the corner is you, and you're the one who can get yourself out of the corner. I mentioned in the past that there's many things that we cannot control, but we have to learn to control what we can and do what we can. In other words, you have to play the cards that you are dealt. We all can't be dealt a king or a queen, but we can manage dealing, there's a good one, with the items that we can control. It's just a simple, basic principle. Not worry about everything beyond our reach and just make this into a very simple message. So, as we do these Friday follow-ups, that's where we need to focus on just simple things that we can control. Probably that's why in our TOPS pledge it talks about things that we can or cannot control. It's funny how that works. So, it's just another Friday reflecting on what happened this week, going into the weekend, coming up with items that we can control. So, as I call this, the follow-up Friday, and you think about that simple, basic message, I need to on a few things. Some of them you realize that we can control, and some of them that are beyond my control, your control, or anybody's control. The first one that we can control is yesterday was Founders Day. Founders Day is January 21st, 1948, when Mrs. Mann started TOPS. And if you get the newsletter that comes from headquarters via email, you'll notice that there's a donation button that you can donate to TOPS, get yourself or friends donate to TOPS, based on some milestones. It takes 3 members plus you to start a chapter, so at $3. TOPS was founded in 1948. Maybe you can donate $48. Now, I will tell you behind the scenes, because I like to try to give you folks what goes on at the corporate level, the discussion as we put things together. I thought 1948, why not $1,948? But we understand 48 makes more sense. And also, too, we've been in existence for 73 years, so $73. Just a little kind of play on how things, milestones that we've had in TOPS. So we're going to take Founders Day and expand it into the next week and just kind of do a celebration of this wonderful organization that we belong to. Now, an example of something that we can't control. You may have heard already that IRD has been canceled as we know it. Something will be put together where we'll control what we can, and more information will be coming out soon. Again, something that we can control, something that we can't control. These Friday morning follow-ups and Barb's Monday check-ins are something that we can control. It's something that you folks can do too. And I hope you've enjoyed the different variations that we've both put on them. The day that we switched, the fact that Barb invited me to talk about cooking, and I'll have a follow-up on that in a moment, that she invited the board for a discussion, my crazy locations, different ties, different things. I dressed up as Survivor, or put my lab coat on and stuff. We just do these things to shake things up because we can control that. And we do this just to serve as an example of what you can do to share TOPS message, to connect with your fellow members, and to spread the word of TOPS. So that's something that we enjoy doing, both Barbara and I. And I also want to let you folks know that I am working on getting a great interview. If I could just get this person, all I need is like 10, 15 minutes of his time, and will be a great, like I said, a wonderful interview. Never before, you've never seen this person before. It'd be wonderful to get him to sit down. Maybe he won't be able to sit down for the Friday morning 10 o'clock slot Eastern time. I might have to pre-record it, but I'll let you know. I'm working on a few things, and hopefully it will be available in a few weeks. Just something that we can do to shake things up and control. Today, another installment of my blog will be posted, and it's after today there'll be 5 more installments. And for those of you who were with me in IRD Portland, obviously you recognize that this blog has been a variation of the astronaut Dan's presentation. He gave me permission to use it and modify it for the blog series. And I know a lot of you wanted a recording of Astronaut Dan to share with your chapters. I just couldn't get him to do it. But by doing this modified blog series, if you just go through and take notes or copy the text, you could put a program together if your chapter's meeting, or soon when your chapter can meeting, or if you do a Zoom meeting with your chapter, you call a friend. Just take one of the topics, one of the constellations or signposts that I call them, to discuss as a talking point to get going. So I'm having fun with that, and I'll be announcing a new series shortly after this one wraps up. So those are a few things, examples that we can control, not control, try to get ourselves out of a corner and go forward. So you may remember that the first Friday of 2021, I announced that I was going to go on an accountability journey. I had lost my way in 2021. Not making any excuses. It happens. It's happened a few times since I joined TOPS in 2002. I just get lost my way. I forget that balance, whatever, and I get back on track. Thank goodness, with the help of TOPS, I never got back up to where I started. I came frightfully close a few times, but I never did, and that's in my mind is a victory, because in the past I would lose weight, gain more than I lost, and it was just a vicious cycle. So, as I said, I would be fully transparent with you every Friday, and you're going to help me keep accountable, and I hope you're doing the same thing as I'm doing, weighing yourself if you're not meeting at your chapters every Friday morning, and then just attest to yourself whether you had a good week or bad week, or if you want to share it in the message as a comment, great. We love to hear the comments. So, one thing that I wanted to control this week was my steps. I noticed last week that I wasn't doing well, and I had set myself a modest goal of 5,000 steps. I'm happy to report that I had 7 days in a row of over 5,000 steps. Now, some days were just barely over 5,000, and as I'm going to do another week and see how it goes, and then I'll up it 2,000 steps to 7,000, and I'll let you know when that happens. What I found as I went back and looked at the days that I had my steps, if I started off the morning with trying to get as many steps as I can before I sat down at my desk, and sometimes the whole day just gets taken over, because you might think I have control of my day, but sometimes I don't. Emergencies happen, and I got to take phone calls or make decisions and talk to folks at the headquarters. So, the day goes. But I found if I get the bulk of my steps, if I could get almost 2,000 steps in the morning, I had a better day. And so what I've been doing is I'll go down and start a load of laundry, I'll empty the dishwasher, I'll go walk my trail and get the SIM cards out of my trail cams, and then I'll come in, have a cup of coffee, and there we go with the day. Oh, and that reminds me, the cup of coffee. I said I was going to give you an update on a cooking discussion that I had with Barb a couple of weeks ago when I talked about the oatmeal cakes that I was trying to put together. Had another chance to make a batch, and I found out not adding the bananas in the in the recipe, I didn't have the moisture, and that's why it was very difficult to work with the texture. So I had great success. So now I have a thin oat cake, no flour, gluten-free, just under 100 calories. That goes well with my cup of coffee in the morning, and that kind of gets me started for the day until I have my breakfast later on in the day. I'm going to play around with the recipe. I think I'm going to add orange juice to get that so that texture is a little bit more manageable, and try to make them a little bit thinner so I can get them crunchier. See, I have control over that recipe, and I meant to mention that earlier, and I'm sorry. So let's get back to the steps. I had great success with my steps, 7 days in a row, over 5,000. Going to tweak, and I talked about how I was able to get there for the 5,000 steps. So, how did I do this week on the scales? Well, I'm happy to report I lost another 2.6 pounds. Right, 2.6 pounds for a total of 12 pounds since the beginning of the year. I am extremely happy, but let's put it in context. Great to lose those 12 pounds, but I shouldn't have put them back on in the first place. So, I mean, I'll take the victory, but I just don't want to get ahead of myself here. What I'm trying to do is I'm tracking back to pre-COVID. I want to get back to where I was before the March board meeting, and then COVID hit all across the area and things just went upside down. So that's my focus. That's, I believe, another 12 pounds or so to go to get to where I was before COVID, which means I've got some ways to go, and that's fine. When I lost 101 pounds, I didn't focus on the 101th pound. I focused on the first pound, then the second pound. So now I'm just going to focus on getting to pre-COVID. Then I'll have to readjust and work back towards my goal. Yeah, that's how far off I fell during this journey that took the wrong turn, so to speak. So, yes, a ways to go. I'm going to embrace it. I'm going to work at different things to get my steps in further and modify my eating habits. I think I need to work on is to increase a little more calories. I'm staying dangerously too low, and I need to consume a few more calories. So I got to work that in. But I'm not worried because I'm not working alone. I've said before, weight loss is a struggle, and you should never do it alone. I'm doing it with you. You're holding me accountable. So ways to go, yes, but glad we're going to be doing it together, and we'll see you next Friday.